Hello and welcome. This is Alexandra, and in this video I want to talk with you about the 4 tendencies of how to meet outer and inner expectations. It's a body of work that has been developed by Gretchen Rubin, and there's also a book if you'd like to read up more on it. I find this to be a very important piece to our work together, because if we know how we respond to expectations, it will be easier to change our habits and to find ways to actually make ourselves do habits that are better for us. So let's dive right in. But before we do, there is a link to a quiz somewhere around this video. You can either do it now or after the video. It's a quiz that helps you to find out what your tendency is. So let's dive right in. There's 4 different tendency types. There's the upholder, the obliger, the rebel, and the questioner. The upholder is the one who can follow both outer and inner expectations. The rebel is the exact opposite. They can't follow their own expectations, nor can they follow other people's expectations. The obliger, on the right-hand side, they have an easy time doing stuff for other people, so following outer expectations, but they can't ever do anything for themselves, inner expectations. On the left-hand side, the questioner, they need a reason why they need to do something. And if they do, they will do it. So they don't like to do things when it's an outer expectations, but if they have an inner expectation of getting something done, they will have an easy time doing it. The easiest way to understand these 4 tendencies is how do you get each tendency to change a light bulb. So, if you're asking an upholder to change the light bulb, they have already done it. You don't even need to ask them. If you ask an obliger to change a light bulb, they'll happily do it for you. They'll be glad to serve you. If you're asking a questioner, you'll likely have to explain why you want that light bulb to be changed. Because, say it's a chandelier with 50 light bulbs on them, well, why would I change it? So you have to give the questioner a why. And if you ask a rebel to change a light bulb, better don't ask, just do it yourself. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the individual ones. So the upholder, the central theme of the upholder is discipline is my freedom. Upholders love routine and they love following inner and outer expectations. They are the people we can count on. If an upholder says they're going to do something, they will do it. They're very self-directed. They're really good with deadlines and work projects, and they do very well being self-employed because they can just set themselves a schedule, they can plan well, and then they just do it. As I said, they enjoy routine, and they have a hard time breaking out of routine sometimes, which can be a little bit of a pitfall for them. They also may become angry and defensive if someone is suggesting that they drop the ball. They really like to be on top of things, and they have, comparatively to the other tendencies, a quite easy time to stay on top of things because they like to do the things that they say they're going to do. They put a high value on follow through. And then they also need to be reminded that not everybody is an upholder, but that they may have other tendencies and that other people may have a harder time getting things done. Because for them, it's easy. They commit to something, they'll do it. There's no question about that. They may have trouble delegating responsibilities because they suspect that others aren't dependable. They like things to be done very well, and then they want to make sure it gets done. So that's just a very quick overview of the upholder. Let's move on to the questioner. The questioner always needs to know the why behind everything. I will comply if you convince me why. If you ask me to put up a shelf and you want me to put up the shelf, you better tell me why you want me to put up that shelf. Oh, because you want to put a flower vase on it and you want it to look pretty? That makes sense to me. Okay, I'll do it. A questioner can drive other people crazy with their constant questioning. But really, the questioner just likes to question things because they want to know the why behind it. And as long as they know the why behind it, they're happy to follow along. questioners question all expectations and meet them only if they believe it is justified, with the result that they may meet only inner expectations. So the way we can work with this, I'm a questioner, the way I can work with this is when somebody has an outer expectation and I don't want to do it, I can tell them, no, that makes no sense to me and that's why I don't want to do it. So I can be just straightforward like that. Or I can say, well, please give me a why I should do that, because I don't want to do it because I haven't seen really the reason behind it. So we can become more skillful in how we deal with other people's expectations of us. They put a high value on reason, research, and information. Oh yeah, they do. And it can go totally the opposite direction too. It means opposite direction, like they're too deep into it. Like they research and they research and they research and they never end up making a decision because they're researching too much. I'm raising my hand about that when it comes to buying plane tickets overseas. Oh my God, I can research and I never buy the ticket because there could be another deal, or there could be some price drop, or there could be something else that would make it a better deal. They don't like to follow the advice of authorities unless they can see why. So even following the orders of the police, or things like only 5 things into a fitting room, 5 garments into a fitting room, that's arbitrary. They don't like that. They like to follow their own judgment, sometimes even if it goes against the grain of an expert. So say a doctor says, take this pill, and they're like, no, I'm not, because I know that this pill won't work for me. I've tried a similar pill before. It won't work for me. I won't do it. Oh, I will go and pick up this herb that I know will work. We'll do the same thing. I'm raising my hand again. They're very persistent in asking questions, and then they may seem uncooperative and defiant. Well, I think I run into trouble with my mom sometimes with that, because I do like to ask lots of questions, and my mom doesn't like that very much. Not to excess anyway. They dislike being questioned themselves. That is a funny contradiction, kind of. They like to ask questions so much themselves, but they don't want to be questioned. Again, I can talk from own experience. I research my decisions very carefully. And once I make a decision, I know why I made that decision. And I don't want to explain to anyone else why I made that. And my sister can be very penetrating in asking me questions why I decided to do certain things. And I used to get very impatient with her. But now, since I know that I'm a questioner, I can be like, oh, okay, she just wants to know. And I'm having this reaction. Now I can just take a breath and answer her questions. It is just my tendency to not want that, so I can respond appropriately. Then questioners may have trouble delegating decision making. They suspect others to not have sufficient basis for their decisions. So they may end up doing more themselves, or in my case, if I hire someone and I don't know them, I ask them loads of questions in the beginning just to make sure that they have researched as much as I have. Moving on to the obliger. The obliger probably benefits the most from knowing their tendency, because you could also call them people pleasers. They love doing things for other people, but it can also lead them into burnout. And their central theme is, if I have to, I will. If I want to, I won't. It's really hard for an obliger to follow their own expectations. So they do things for other people all the time, which leads to burnout. And this may go on for decades. And then all of a sudden, the obliger is going to say, enough is enough. I've done enough for other people. I'm going into rebellion. We call that obliger rebellion. And then they don't do anything anymore. And then the other people are like, oh, what's up with her? Why is she so bitchy? Well, it's not really that she's bitchy. She's just has done so much all her life for other people. She's now realizing that that was too much, and that she needs to put more emphasis on self-care and less emphasis on responsibility and on other people's expectations. So making yourself, if you're an obliger, making yourself something visual like this may be helpful, so that you're not overgiving, but you're also receiving yourself. The mantras that would be very helpful for obligers is say yes to less, say no to more. Say yes to less, say no to more. Get comfortable with saying no. That's really what it's about. Other people won't die if you don't do those copies for them, or if you don't go shopping for them, or if you don't do this other thing for them. Just say yes to less. And check in with yourself before you say yes to something and find out, hey, is this something that I have space for? Is this something that I have time for, that I want to give my attention to? Treat yourself as you treat others. If you're booking a massage for your husband or for your girlfriend or for your partner, book one for yourself too. If you're taking your friend out to dinner, take yourself out to coffee the next day. Treat yourself as you treat others. And ask yourself, how can I be of service to myself? Don't just be of service to other people, but be of service to yourself as well. Fill your own cup first, put your own oxygen mask first, then help others. That way everyone is served. The biggest thing that obligers need is accountability. Obliger pattern, what it says here, is not an issue of self-sacrifice, self-esteem, boundaries, or motivation, people-pleasing, or discipline, but rather an issue of external accountability. If an obliger wants to meet inner expectations, they need a system of outer accountability. So that could look like, say you wanted to exercise more, go to the gym and hire someone, a private what do you call them, those private trainers, and the private trainer expects you to show up every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. External accountability. Or find yourself a eat better buddy, and you call each other every day and say, today I made chicken soup homemade for myself. And the other person's like, yes, I made that too. That's what we agreed upon. Outer accountability. So obligers put a high value on meeting commitments to others. We already discussed this. They succeed when given outer accountability, supervision, and deadlines. They may have trouble setting limits on other people's demands. We already discussed that too. Say yes to less, say more to no to more. I must have a system of external accountability, and they may be exploited by other people. Of course they are, because if we want to get something done, who do we ask? An obliger. Because an obliger does what they're told to do or what they're asked to do. They thrive on it. The rebel. The central theme of a rebel is, you can't make me and neither can I. Rebels cannot follow inner or outer expectations. They put a high value on freedom, choice, identity, and self-expression. If you tell a rebel what to do and how to do, they are likely not going to do it. What you have to give a rebel is information, consequence, and choice. So for example, if a doctor told a rebel to take a certain medicine, the rebel is going to walk out the door and say, no, I'm not. Instead, the doctor could say, you have digestive issues, which is likely going to lead to Crohn's disease. Consequence. Here's 5 things that have worked for other people. Take it or leave it. See you next time. That way, a rebel can think for themselves whether that's what they want to do. Rebels may respond to a challenge by saying, oh, I'll show you, or watch me. Ha, you said I can't do something? Well, watch me, I can. So they want to prove the other person wrong. The way rebels can get themselves to do something is by finding their bigger why. They can find a mission. They find a bigger belief. So for example, say you're a rebel and you found your mission to be saving children in Africa. And that's your big mission on this planet in this lifetime. You will follow inner and outer expectations because you have that bigger why that's driving you. Rebels have to meet a challenge in their own way, in their own time. They will do things if they want to do them. They won't do them if they don't want to do them. So it's really about the wanting in the moment that you have to pay attention to. So the biggest thing for a rebel is information, consequence, choice. That's the example that I brought with the doctor. You have digestive issues, information. consequences. You're going to have Crohn's disease. The choice is here are 5 things that have worked for other people. Take it or leave it. So that's the rebel. How the 4 tendencies can change habits. You can check this out, pause this and read this. But just as an overview, the upholder has no problem changing habits once they made a commitment. They just need to make themselves a schedule and link their habits with a trigger, and off they go. An obliger, they need accountability. So being in a group of people who is on the same mission and holds them accountable is great. A rebel needs to find their bigger why inside. Why would they want to change that habit? Why do they want to shift anything in their life? Well, find the bigger why, and then it'll be easy to change. And the questioner just needs to know the why behind it. Why should I go to bed early? Why do I need to exercise more? What is it going to do for me? Like, why? And that's what the questioner will thrive on. So this is a quick overview of the 4 tendencies. Do that quiz that's somewhere around here, and we will work with this as we work together. So this is all I got for today. This is Alexandra signing off. Bye for now.